Hey everyone, welcome. Let's see what's going on with Facebook. All right, I think Facebook will let us go live now. Oh my Lord. So Facebook is going to be late, so I'm going to oh my Lord. Oh, Facebook not acting up tonight.
Don't do that, Facebook.
Right.
It's something like it won't be. You can't be 10 minutes early. You can't be 10 minutes late, and it's like, well, what's the in between time? What's with the two? The 2 minute time.
Right.
So I'm hitting go live, but it doesn't want to go live, and so at this point, I'm going to hit remove.
Okay.
Ready.
And it's just going to be that. So everybody that's watching right now, that's on YouTube, drop the link in Facebook, and that's what I'm about to do right now.
All right. And hey,
Let
y'all.
me get that too.
We're
Hey.
gonna drop the link from YouTube into Facebook. People can still comment if they want to. So welcome to Renewed Talk. Welcome to Renewed Talk. Welcome to Renewed Talk. Welcome to Renewed Talk. Comment if they want to. I don't have a production team. I am the production team, so work with me.
All right, let me share it to the Facebook too.
And I really despise Facebook. It's my nerves. All right.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I can't hear y'all.
Okay, now we're having that problem. You can't hear us at all? Will she leave the room?
I have to log back in. All right, I found it. I'm posting it to the Facebook.
Thank you, Isla.
Let me find you and tag you.
Yes, post it to the Facebook. And Facebook keep asking me about scheduling posts. I don't want to schedule posts. I just want y'all to leave me alone.
I just want to share the live.
They always want to do something. So how are you this evening?
I am doing well. As you can probably hear, there is a whole thunderstorm happening outside my window.
I actually can't hear it.
Okay, that's good because Morocco's my dog.
Now I hear Morocco because you said his name.
He's upstairs with my mom, and then they're having a watch party upstairs.
Yep, I'm about to say I can only hear it because you said his name.
Yeah, so whenever the thunder goes off, he gets a little excited.
Understood. It's okay, Morocco.
Where is your name? Oh, Janelle. Post it. But yes, I'm doing well. Last day of spring break, so I'm a little sad about that.
Oh, you gotta go back to the children.
I do get to go back to the kiddos bright and early on Monday morning. So we get Darius in the comments. Cece's backstage again.
All right, let me let her on in the room.
Hey, y'all. Okay, I'm back.
We good?
We good.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to see. Welcome to Renewed Talk. Welcome to Renewed Talk. Okay, I had a little bit of music I was going to play as people enter the room, but everybody probably already here. I was like, I'll play a little bit of music. In the lonely kind of world, glad I got mine, I guess I'm leaving single. In the lonely kind of world, glad I got mine. In the lonely kind of world, glad I got mine. In the lonely kind of world, glad I got mine. Welcome to Renewed Talk. That is our introduction music for tonight. And if you've been on YouTube for the last 5 minutes, I'm sorry, y'all. But we live and in action.
Right.
We're live and in action. My name is Elaine Janelle, and this show is called Renew Talk. The background you see is a good old show that some of us probably grew up on, named Living Single. That's our little background that you see. If you see some colors in the background, is the Living Single logo. So welcome. I'm going to start off by welcoming my great guest for this evening, and I hope that you guys will enjoy this conversation tonight, because it's going to be good. Good.
Real good.
I want to start off inviting, just welcoming my guests, and I'll be shouting out different people who are listening throughout the show, because we have some family and friends who are already listening. So I first would like to welcome my good friend and cousin, Miss Cece. I'm being good because I'm not saying any other names other than Cece Newman.
All right.
That is one of her nicknames. And my other guest is my great friend, Miss ILa. I'm just going to say Isla Marie, because that's her Instagram name, _Marie. But I want you guys to just introduce yourselves, tell us where you're from, and then also tell us like kind of what you do career-wise, if you want to share that. If it's not that big of importance to you, you don't have to.
Oh, that's fine. No, my name is Cece. I'm from New Jersey, here in South Jersey. Well, we call it South Jersey. Some people say it's really kind of central because they're still like South Jersey, but that's not the point. So I'm from South Jersey, and I am in the mortgage industry. I started off in loss mitigation, and now I'm in home equity lines of credit. Yeah, that's about
home equity lines of credit. I might be having a conversation with you soon. All right, go ahead.
Hey everyone, I am Isla. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, but I live in Hopewell, but I still claim Richmond. Realize I am a school counselor, but I'm also working on my doctorate in counselor education and supervision. And so I don't really know where that is going to take me yet. Because in my mind, I want a different career like every week. So right now, I am in school counseling.
nice.
I want a different career every week. That's real though. That's all I'm gonna say is that's very real. That's real. So before we get started and I dive into some of my fun, loving questions that we'll start off with, I first want to acknowledge that we have Mr. Darius listening in. And if y'all was on from the top, you heard to say his name. And Ms. Dorothy is listening in, Richmond's finest as well. And my good friend Christian. So if you're out there, you listening, drop your name in, share, share the link, show some love. We love all that throughout the whole show. So before we get started, I wanted to tell, I don't know what that sound is. Do y'all hear a sound?
Yeah, it's like a clicking noise, but I don't know where it's from.
It's a little crackling. I'm not sure it's not for me.
Now, I'm not hardwired in. I am working with Wi-Fi, and I don't know if that is part of the problem. because it can always be anything in these times and days. Because it sounds like I'm typing, and that's I'm like I'm not typing anything.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna see how bad it keeps up. Okay, so what I wanted to do was first I wanted to just ask you guys fun-loving questions. It's the same thing I've been doing for every show lately, and it's just to give some vibe, something different. Let's start off with this question: hot or cold?
Cold, definitely cold.
Hot.
Okay, how about black or white?
Wait, what was that?
Black or white?
Black.
I agree. I'm gonna have to go with black. You want our reasoning, or you just want the answer?
Just I think I knew that sound was coming from, or maybe I didn't. I thought I sounded it. Black or white? It could be anything. It could be clothes. It could be like paint. It could be just between those two colors. What do you prefer, black or white?
Yeah, black.
Yeah, I'm going with black.
Okay. How about heels or flat?
Flats.
Yeah, and in this COVID-19, flats.
Team flats.
Okay. Heels or flats. All right. How about grits with sugar or grits with salt and pepper and butter, or both?
Right. Cheese. All that at the same time. The conglomeration.
I'm gonna have to go with grits with salt and pepper. I've never had sugar grits because I feel like that would be cream of wheat.
It would be. But I will, it depends on my mood. So I will do with sugar, but most times than not, I do salt, pepper, cheese, you know, and then I mix everything up. I put my eggs in there. I break my bacon up. Delicious.
Yes. And you do cooking. I forgot you do cook.
I like to eat.
My last one for the night: long hair, short hair.
Long hair.
I like long hair, but I like short hair too. I think short hair can be so cute and fun and flirty. Right.
Yes. Yeah, I battle with the long hair, short hair concept. I have a battling problem with that. So that's why my hair is hair on the top and no hair on the sides. Because I want the best of both worlds. I want the best of both worlds. That's how I live. I want both. So I'm going to dive into the question tonight. I hope this sound does not continue because it's going
I
to.
really don't know what it's from.
Yeah, I don't know what it's from, but I mean, it's not bad.
Okay. As long as you guys can hear me, that's going to make me angry if you can't hear me because then it'll be pointless me asking questions. Y'all are cracking me up. So the people are on the line and they are listening. Darius said, "Stay away from sugar grits." And then Miss Melody Wimber said, "Grits nasty."
Melody.
Not nasty altogether.
All right. Well, some people don't. I am a warm cereal person, so I do oatmeal, I do grits, I do cream of wheat. I really do almost all of it. So I understand that everybody doesn't feel the same way about that. But Darius, yes, we're going to combine these technology glitches tonight. I'm not sure where they're coming from or how to handle it. So I was audio recording. I usually audio record every episode. I'm closing GarageBand because I'm not sure if that's part of the problem. In the meantime, Isla and
It just stopped.
It just stopped.
I thought.
I think it came back. It really does sound like someone is typing in the background, like somebody's like hacking into the session or something. Oh.
Yeah, that's what's weird. And I always do the show off of Wi-Fi, to be honest, even at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where it's coming from. That's why I'm like, it's not like I don't use Wi-Fi. Now, the truth is I am in a hotel this time. I don't know if that has something to do with it. But we're going to try to keep making this work. So people have jokes about the shit. Okay, we get it, Christian, no sugar. And Monica said, did you just say no to hot cereal, amen?
all together.
Say no.
So Isla and Cindy, I've really known probably almost all my life, even though both of them are younger than me. So I've been more so that they've known me all of my life. All of their lives. There you go.
There
So
it is.
we all grew up in a great organization called My Son Holy Shift from America, and we all doing our good thing now, living our life like it's golden because it is golden. And
Accurate.
and that is how I know them. Cindy is not my blood cousin, but you can't tell us that because we don't know anything else. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. For the entirety of our lives, we have been cousins.
Her aunt, her mom is aunt to me. Okay, her mom is aunt to me. So I wanted to dive into some of these questions. How old? So our topic tonight is living single. If you haven't noticed, our background that you see up is the background of the logo Living Single from the show. And during the quarantine, I actually watched the whole show, first episode, first season to the very one, to when Kyle Barker left. Well, that's not his real name. But when Kyle Barker was the actual character removed from the show, and they put this other random guy in who only lasted for like, I don't know, 3 episodes, maybe 5. But it was such a dynamic change because you could see like it was like they were trying to rush to a climax ending on the actual show. But I actually do enjoy overall. I do enjoy Living Single. I remember it was on TV regular. We need to come on after Martin. I remember that time period of my life. I was not old enough to watch it, but I did know when it came on. And so as an adult, seeing the show, definitely a different aspect related to the fact that I grew up in the 90s and that it's now 2021. Things are a little bit different, but there's so many similarities in the show that we might touch on and mention tonight. So my first question to y'all is, when did you realize that you were a person who was a single adult? Like, when did it become clear, like, this is the category that you are now considered in?
Go ahead, Isla.
So it's funny Melody is on here because I think I believe it's 2 years in October. Melody and her husband Dimitri got married, and she was one of the first friends in our friend circle, our friend group, that got married. And so it was kind of like, wow, she has a whole husband, and that's like something I haven't been exposed to. And just like seeing her transition from a single person to a wife, and seeing how that translated, just seeing it, like, because I was one of the maid of honors, and so I had like a front picture and like really just experiencing it, and I was like, wow, I am a whole single person, and she is getting married. So about 2 years ago.
I can definitely understand that, like, as far as watching your friends and everything get married. But I think for me, for my first time realizing that I wasn't in a relationship, or like relationships were really a thing, I would say it was in high school, because I went to a predominantly white high school. So there was only a handful of Black people, but not for nothing, Caucasians, they like young relationships, so it felt like everybody was coupled up around you, right? So then you're kind of like, oh, well, oh, maybe that is the thing. But as an adult, outside of high school, like when I got to college, really didn't think about it during college. We were all having fun. It wasn't until people, like Isla said, started getting married, and you were like, oh, well, dang, I didn't know you and Brad was that serious like that. Like, then you're like, oh, okay, all right, I see what's happening here. And then it just, as a lot of your friends tend to get married, have kids, settle down, then you're like, oh, snap, like, oh, like I'm that, because you see it on TV, like the single lady. Sometimes it's a good depiction, sometimes not so much, and then you're like, hey, well, that's kind of me. Yeah.
Yeah, I will have to say mine happened when I started having to go to weddings. And what's crazy though is just like funerals, I've been going to them all my life. As a child, people get married at church, and you going to other people's weddings.
Right.
And it wasn't until like college and transition to adulthood when it clicked. I was like, oh, this is what it's like. Or when you start being multiple people's bridesmaids. That
Right.
when that started to become a thing, I said, oh, okay. Oh, okay. So, what made it real for you? So both of y'all share like kind of some intimate moments, and like you said, Cindy, her parents love a young relationship, and I went to a Christian school, so everybody was trying to be booed up and married because they were supposed to not be having sex, supposedly, whatever. So,
Right. That part.
so, so what was it though? You said you mentioned Melody's wedding is what made it real to you, Isla.
Yeah, so
What?
it was actually it was a conversation we had, and she talks about it often too. But it was like the moment when things used to happen in Melody's life. We would talk about them. She would come be like, "Isla, what do I need to do? How do I fix this? Or how do I like how do we problem solve this?" And it was one time he was like, "Oh, I just called Dimitri and asked him for, what I should do or advice." And I was like, "But I'm your person. Like, we're in this together." And that's when I realized, oh, wow, I am single. And she has a whole fiance husband. And it was in that moment.
I keep muting myself, hoping that the sound will go away. That's why I keep. Why if you see me mute myself, it's because I'm trying to avoid the sound that we're hearing. Cindy, when did like I asked like when did it become real to you? When did you notice that okay, I might need to make I don't want to say adjustments, but understanding like the reality of how it affects your living.
Well, I guess I would say kind of like I look like you realize like how you have to conduct yourself with now your friends who, y'all you could call them in the middle of the night, like we do. Like I can call you at 2 o'clock in the morning and just expect you to just stay on the phone with me, and I'm not even talking about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I can do that with you because you're single, so your interactions with people who are in relationships changes around you, and then you're like kind of navigating that like, oh well, I used to, or this person used to come to me for X, Y, and Z, and now they're going like, I'm gonna keep on saying the name Brad, but like now they're going over to Brad for these conversations, for these things, and it's just like that is, and it does kind of make it real to you because then you're like, okay, this is a whole new situation. Now that I'm older, I'm kind of used to it, but I don't have like a defining moment where it's like, I'm single because I kind of enjoy being single. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just my way of life.
Right. So that's a good thing you actually bring up. I want to dive into that, but I don't want to dive into it just yet. But I do want to dive into do you actually enjoy being single? Before I get there though, I want to ask this question. What are some things you consider about your lives now? So all of us in our 30s, we're not all the same age. So if there's anybody watching, they're like, well, how old are they? We're all in our 30s, but we're not the same age. So we're in different areas in our 30s. What things did you experience when you were in your younger years between like 18 and 25 that you didn't even think about, and now you really stop and consider or you think about as a person? I want to be clear on this because I'm going to talk a lot this evening about the single part. So I'm like, what are some things that you really have experienced or realized that you experienced later, things that maybe you didn't think about in your earlier years?
Well, I would guess for me more so that it was just like I wasn't thinking down the road. Like when I was younger, it was just whatever was happening right now. That's what was happening right now, and I was okay with that. So I wasn't thinking family or is this person family oriented, or do I want to have a family? Do I want to have kids? Does that person want to have kids? Do they already have children? Those are things I wasn't thinking about. It was like whatever is fun. A lot of times, whatever is dumb. That's where I was at.
I would agree.
I mean, that's the truth of it.
Go ahead, Isla.
I was gonna say I would agree. 18 to 25, it was really much so like in the moment. So just being in college, doing things, having fun with my friends, traveling, which I still do all the time now. But really just being in the moment, and like Cece said, not thinking like 10 years from now, like I want to have a child 10 years from now, like those sort of things, and how my body will be impacted, how my age will impact the things that I want to do later on in life, or things like that.
The reason I asked that question is because I do realize that as you transition and you grow, you do see things a little bit differently. I myself, I remember being in high school and everybody wanted to have twins. I think it was a sophomore or something. Everybody wanted to have twins, and I was like, "What is with this phenomenon?" It was like we just want to do one and done. I get it, but it's not realistic. But I remember being in high school and saying this. This was like my MO. I don't want to get married in my 20s, but I want to get married in my 20s. But I don't want to be as old as my mom when she got married. Like that was a whole thing. Because I was aware of the time how old my parents were when they got married. And it's totally different now. So it's totally different now. So now going back to, do you enjoy being single? Do you enjoy? What are some of the pros that you have about being single personally? I know we can like list general ones, but what are some of the pros that you have personally about being single?
Yes, I do enjoy being single. I actually had this conversation with a friend maybe a month ago, and he was like, "I think you see the idea of being in a relationship, but then like the reality of it is you don't want people in your space all the time." So that is definitely a pro. Like I enjoy coming home and it being just me and Morocco and my roommate, and not having to, check in with someone and communicate with someone that like I had a long day at work today and I don't want to be bothered, or just being able to come and go as I please. I really enjoy the independence, and also when making decisions, I don't have to like consult with people about it. And I do have like the relationship with my parents and my sister, so like big decisions I do often go to them. But really, just having that independence and being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it is something that definitely one of the pros of being single.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like for me, I enjoy my freedom. I'm real free spirited. Everybody who knows me knows that, I'm kind of just like move with the wind, whatever happens, happens. That's just my personality. And so when you add somebody to that, then it's like, oh, well, I gotta let you know that the wind went left. I don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Like to me personally right now, which is why I'm not like pressed for a relationship. I do realize I'm getting older, but I think that there's like the stigma that if you're single, you're not fulfilled. My life is good. I have friends that I love, and they know that, when I don't want to be bothered, I'm MIA. When I do want to be bothered, I'm like, what we doing? Where we at? So they're used to my personality. I can take a step back because I have my own household. There's that freedom. I enjoy that. And I do like investing that time in other things, because relationships are time consuming. When you really put it out there, they are time consuming. So for me, I like hanging with my family, spending time with my friends, and walking around my house in a moo-moo, not doing nothing. Like that to me is good times. So I guess that would be the pros of being single. It's just that you get to learn yourself, spend time with yourself, which is nice.
Thoroughly enjoy it.
If it looks like I froze, it's because I switched to Wi-Fi. We're hoping that the all of these technical things will calm down. I'm not sure if I solved it, but I tried. It's interesting you say that, because Melody just dropped below. Melody said, "Girl, I do what I want to do when I want to do it, and I'm married."
I know that's right, Melody.
And shout out also to our friend Douglas.
Hey,
Douglas.
So,
like I know.
Yes, hi Douglas. So I so this is something I often think about, like how different my life would be if I was married or if I was in. Let me just be honest. Even if I was in a more committed relationship, because I am very free will. Y'all know me. I'm a lingerer. I'll linger anywhere that I feel comfortable lingering. Right now, I ain't comfortable on stand. But if I feel comfortable being there, I'm like, all right, sure, And I only do it with close friends. I don't do it with everybody. But even like I always think about that being whether in a committed relationship or married. I always say like, I wonder if these things will still be the same. And something that I'm going to do, not this is the beginning of kind of a living single series concept that we're going to do. So y'all will, those who are watching, you probably will come back a couple months from now and see ILa and Cece back on here because we're going to talk to a few different people, men, women, different age brackets as well. I don't want to do just our age bracket. And I also want to talk to some married people who understand single life because this is my problem. This is my thing. And then I'm going to dive back into where we're at. People get married and they act like they can solve single people's problems.
Right,
and
right.
that's
that, and that's annoying. I just want to say.
You got married at 21. You have nothing to say to me about how I live a single life.
Right, and there is a difference. Can I just interject that there is a difference between folks who have gotten into committed relationships, married young, and their life experiences versus our life experiences, right? Because they might have gotten married before they had a chance to have their own household to, kind of learn the ropes of, handling everything by yourself, things like that. So it's not that it's less than. But what I would also say is don't treat us like our life is less than either. That's the thing. Like nobody wants to feel like a pity case, like, Cindy's still single. She haven't found her Boaz, like that kind of thing. Nobody wants that. But I do kind of want to highlight there's pros and cons to both.
Very much so. Very much so. And one of the things that was interesting to me when I was doing like a little like Bible study concept on it, I didn't dive heavily in because I realized that in the Old Testament or the Torah or whatever, it was kind of looked down upon because of their culture, the Jewish culture, not to be married. So I had to make sure I made that clear because we're not Jews and we're not living in the Mid East. We're living in America, and it's 2021. And life is totally different. And how we view ourselves, how women view themselves are totally different from how men and women view themselves during that time period. Now, understanding that that is a Jewish culture, so that culture and religion still views a lot of those views have not changed. But as a culture, society, we live in a different culture. And so when I looked at the scripture, it was talking about First Galatians, and I'm just sharing the scripture because I just read it today. 1 Corinthians 7:7, the Message Bible was talking about God gives the gift of the single life to some and the gift of married life to others. And I said, oh, this is a gift? Got it. So, and the only reason I say it like that is because I don't think that every day it feels like a gift, but I feel like married people might have the same type of testimony or feelings. So how do you guys feel like that? Do you find being single like a good thing? And do you want to stay single? Like how committed are you to being single?
Yeah, so growing up was really interesting because my mom and dad, but I always remember my father. And whenever someone would approach my sister and I about a relationship or like what we wanted to be, or like just marriage in general, my dad always pulled us to the side and would have very intentional conversations with us about and saying we don't have to be married to be happy. He would point out examples of women that were thriving and that they weren't married. And so really making sure that he instilled in us at an early age, like, yes, marriage is cool because him and my mom are married, but we can be successful. We could be really whatever we wanted to be, get our education. That was a big focus and it still is in our house as well. But really making sure that we knew no matter what other people said, that being single was a gift. And so now that when I was young, I always think that way. But now that I'm old, I really go back to those words often and really think about in what ways it is a benefit and a gift. So yes, now I do have that thought and vision behind it. Earlier years, probably not as much.
Because I'm trying to control the situation I have no control over. That's a problem. Anyway, that'll preach all this stuff. Anyway, shout out to Deacon Cartwright. That's what I call him for like those words of wisdom. How do you feel, Cece?
I kind of am like a whatever happens kind of girl. Like if I meet the right person, if I find the right situation, I'm okay with that. But I'm also okay with if this is the way it is, you know, moving forward. Either way, I'm kind of good, you know.
Do you feel like at times that you're missing out on anything? As you, huh?
I said, no, I was saying, of course, you feel like you're missing out on having a family. You know, like I lost custody of dog once, but sometimes I'm like, ooh, like how nice would it be to come home and have a husband and children to cater to? Like I love to cook, to be able to come home and cook dinner, have dinner on the meal, on the table, you know, and sit down and have a family meal. Those are things that I think about, but you know, I'm not committed to being single. I'll say that I'm not committed to being single, but you know, however my life goes is how it goes.
Okay, so you're open both ways. Is that from what you're saying? Um, how about you, Isla? Like that question alone, because I'm gonna tap a little bit on some of the stuff that your dad said share with you because I love it. By the way.
Yeah, so I'm definitely open to not being single and having a family. I just don't know if I want it right now. So maybe like ideally, I really do want to finish my doctorate. So I do want to do some things personally and professionally first. For me personally to be in a better space. So I'm open to it, but I don't think that I have the desire or I don't have the desire to commit the time that it would take at this point in my life.
Gotcha. What do you say to your friends? This is off the grid. So I try to share my questions beforehand, but like I told y'all, stuff just be coming to me. What do you say to your friends or to people who are more pressing or more inquisitive about your personal life? And so I know we always got jokes about this. Like, I heard somebody say once, this was a joke. This was a joke. I heard somebody say once, you know, when people go to weddings with their family and they be looking at them like, you next. And they said, I'm gonna start doing that at funerals to the older people. Because you won't leave me alone. What do you say to people who are like putting people in those compromising situations? And the reason I'm asking this question is because similar to you, Isla, that's how my mother was. I think because I'm 36 and because my mother at the age of, she got married around the age of 35, 36. And she was never like, she was not the one to be trying to get nobody married, like out of high school college concept. Like that ain't even her lifestyle. She didn't do it, and she really don't want it for nobody else unless that's what they want for themselves. They're rushed to get married. They're rushed to. She was like, I like being, you know, she was definitely a person that said, I like being single. I like traveling. And because she liked people's kids, she would just take other people's kids. Right. Other people's kids. So I respect what your father said because I think that needs to be instilled because people that become dependent on another person and then what concerns me about living single is like, do you know who you are? Are you so concerned about your relationship that you're not sure of who you are?
Right.
So what I have to say is, what do you say to other people who are like trying to press not just you but other people around you? Not saying we trying to just put our opinions out there, but what is your response to it when you see it happening?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
I'm saying that I don't really, luckily for me, you know, every once in a while, my brother might be like, hey, when you gonna give me a brother-in-law? And it's not because it's like pressure on me. It's more so like we need more men around here, you know. But it's like jokingly. But luckily for me, nobody really asked me about that. And we have a large family, and most people don't ask about it. Luckily, so I haven't really come across a situation where I had to address it. Now, I'm real good for a mind your business for anything. If I feel like you're being a little too invasive or it's something that I don't really feel comfortable discussing with you, then yeah, I'm good for it. Well, life is funny like that, and you just kind of move on,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Ella?
I would say for just married and children, if you know me, you know that Morocco is my child. And so anybody that's like, oh, when you gonna get married and have kids, I already have a dog, a son. His name is Morocco, and that's all I do right now. And then similar to Cece, a lot of people don't really address it too much. And I'm also very quiet and just private in my personal life with people who are not like my inner circle of friends. And so typically people don't really ask.
Mm-hmm.
There are some that do, but I'll just be like, well, I'm happy. Like, I don't have any issues with how my life is going right now. So you shouldn't either.
If you were to get, now I'm really throwing some stuff out there. If you were to get older, and you didn't get married, say you're like 45, 50, 52, I don't know, 60. And you're getting older, you desire to have children, but your body is saying no because of time passing. Would any of you all be open to adopt? And let me backtrack. Are any of y'all afraid of even raising or having children?
So are we afraid of having or raising children, and then will we open to adopt?
Yep.
So no, I think children are great. Like right now, I work with kids, so I do love children. I think that having my own would be really cool to have a little Cece ILa and to like teach them all the things and to explore and travel with the kids. So I don't think it would be scary, or I'm not opposed to raising, but I've always wanted to adopt. So if I get to the point where I'm not able to have kids, or just that's just not how life played out, I would love to adopt. I think exposing or giving love to someone that doesn't have it, or just giving them a new opportunity, or providing them a home would be really cool. So I'm always open to adopting.
Gotcha. How about you, Steve?
Well, I mean, I'm not pro-children. I'm not anti-children, but I like having the option, right? So I have looked into having my eggs frozen to consider for in vitro down the road, So I have been kind of looking. It's very expensive, just to hold my little frozen eggs. They charge a gross amount of money for storage fees. But anyway, it's something that I think about, but I'm not like pro or anti. And I don't think that I would feel like so jaded if I didn't have children. But life changes. So now if we get down the road, I do want to be able to have the option, and thank God for adoption and things like that, where that you can keep your options open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I only ask that because I know I think hearing it in your early 20s, when you adopt children, you don't hear people say it as often. And I feel like it's always with maturity that people start to consider multiple different ways. Some people just don't want to push anything out of them, or have any person cut somebody to push something out of them. So, or someone out of them. So,
well, what do you think, Jay? I said, what do you think?
I have been more considerate. I think because I have become more comfortable with having that conversation, I am fine with adopting children. Now, Elaine has never wanted more than 2 kids. I used to always say if I got married and had 3 kids, I would have to tell the third child, you was the whole accident. Because I would not intentionally have 3 children. That would have to be Jesus. But I would be open to adoption, especially I'm 36, and even though people can still have children at this age, I think knowing that 40 is not far anymore. When you're 25, 40, oh, that's so far away. Since it's not far anymore, as I get older, I'm more concerned about what happens to my body.
Right.
And that's why I would be more concerned about it. And I also want to be financially stable to take care of another human being.
Right.
Considering the style and the time that we live in, I am very Darius. Considering the style and the time that we live in, I really I don't understand people that keep having kids after 3 children who aren't married or who are struggling. I know though. Because I understand why you keep putting these kids in this type of situation. If you're married and that's what y'all want to have 20 kids, that's on y'all. I have nothing against it. But when I see people who I know are like having a hard time making this with 2 and 3, and then you decide to have 4,
it's like why are you making these choices, right?
So yes, Darius, not a whole excellent. I mean, people won't tell the truth, but it's the truth. Some kids will be like, "We wasn't even ready. We thought we was done." How many times have you heard that? We thought we were done. So I'm open to it. So before I go any further, I do have a few more questions for you guys. But our audience, anybody's listening, I have 15 people on here. my stand over. I have 15 people on here. If y'all have any questions for us tonight, or if you want to just put out some questions in the air, by all means.
Say something?
Oh, yes.
This is something I was just thinking on today. I was eating my coconut cake for breakfast, and I was saying, what I really would like to discuss is normalizing dating. Like, I feel like people make it seem like a bad thing to speak to multiple people at one time. Hear me out. So dating is completely different than, to me, dating is completely different than being in a relationship. So I feel like you should spread your eggs out in these different baskets. To me, so I often tell people I've never been in a real relationship. My entire life, I haven't been in a relationship. Now, have I dated people seriously for a long time? Yes, I've done that. But to me, you're in a relationship when you have the conversation. Okay, it's going to be exclusively us. You know, this is what we're doing. This is the game plan moving forward, because now we're, really dating with intention. Like, of course you want to date with intention, but I'm saying at this point, like, we're moving toward marriage. Like, this is, you're my person. Right. But I feel like there's like a stigma involved, and it's like people just want to run into, oh, that's my man, that's my boyfriend, and we giving boyfriend privileges. We out here cooking meals. You making collard greens for him. You don't even make none for your parents. You see what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. And it's like I feel like people jump into, oh, now y'all don't even have like a commitment to each other, and it's like, oh, but I'm gonna give you. I just want to normalize, bring back dating 2021. If somebody seems like they have something fun and interesting, there's something that you feel like, compels you to hang with this person, get to know that person, do that. That's all I'm trying to say. That's it.
It's funny that you say it because, okay, I started doing online dating in 2019. So my roommate just hopped on, and Darius is coming with the questions. I got you, bro. I'm gonna post him up there when we hit him. And my roommate is on here too. I think it was like 2019 when I decided, all right, I'm gonna try this online dating thing, right?
And I was a fan.
Say what?
And I was a fan of it. I thought it was.
Yes, you were. Y'all were fans. My people who knew about it. And I tell everybody first. I don't want everybody to hear people's opinion. I got on these bagels, so I'm really kind of open with it now. So when people see it and they're like, "You want coffee meets bagels?" Yeah, I am. And I don't care. And people be like, "What is it?" It's started by 2 Asian American ladies. I decided when I got on there that I would try to be open. The problem with Elaine is Elaine is picky and meticulous. And I have told people I'm not about the man that has a house, a car. I just want you to care about yourself. And I also want you to care about me. I think my frustration with dating in general, and I'm like you, Cindy, I believe in dating. I don't not believe in it. Let me make that very clear. I would have preferred courting because I get tired of dating. That's the only reason why I prefer courting is because I get tired of meeting people. My first online outside dating, I don't know what I call it, it's just awkward. My roommate said he might have been on the spectrum. So
Might have been a little different.
So, no judgment. We had a good conversation, and he loved Jesus. But there were so many other things. So I was like, "Oh my goodness, this will irritate me." And this is only the first time I met you in person. And so there are some concerns that I have with dating online because I really realized that I like people more and more as I spend more time with them. So when I meet somebody initially, I'm liable to not like nobody. I mean, you can be cute.
Right.
That's all you are. It's a pretty face, a nice, handsome face. And if you start talking dumb or stupid, then everybody who knows me,
You're like, bye.
That's a good night.
when does this end? So I normalize dating. I'm with you on your campaigns.
Yeah, I'm starting. I might take this thing on the road, date, like get to know people. But I think for me, it's more so like I just want people to get to know people. First of all, it's not like it used to be, right? Because everybody used to meet somebody through somebody. That barely happens anymore. Like, okay, prime example. My sister got married young, right? So her husband, his best friend ended up marrying my sister's best friend, which is also our first cousin. So they ended up getting married. And that was just like what happened. Or people would meet people at work. We in a pandemic, we got to switch up styles. We have to learn different ways to meet different people, even if it's like virtually, just to, put yourself out there. Because what I will say too is, especially with the pandemic, I've become, because prior to the pandemic, I was kind of the person that would go out, have fun, come home, go out, have fun, come home. But I wasn't really meeting people because I wasn't going to the types of places that you should be going to meet somebody to talk. You can't meet no. I'll tell y'all later the places I was at, but you can't meet nobody. They're not there. Okay. So what I will say is that, like, the pandemic puts you in a new situation where you have to kind of like video chat, get to talk to somebody to know somebody, because I'm not trying to get the COVID for nobody. So you have more conversation, almost kind of like it used to be back in high school when you sit on the phone forever, like getting to know people, things like that. But I just want to normalize getting to know people. The more people you meet, the more likely that it would be that you would meet your person.
That's true.
And not to be so narrow-minded about what you want or what you're looking for that you don't give people a chance. Now, do you entertain people that you have no, like you said, like you're like, what's going on here? Like, no, I don't feel like you should entertain people just for fun. But if there are qualities about somebody that you find interesting, I think that you should explore them.
Right. And I definitely can say that online dating made me do that. And I'm not just on Coffee Meets Bagels. So other people might be like, well, I seen her on something else. You're right. Because I joined other things. But I definitely can say that I have maybe not went on a date, but had conversations with more people who were my total opposite. But it opened my mind to be willing to have those conversations. I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, this is how I can tell I'm not ready for that yet, because I did get on a couple of sites or apps, and I would get to the point where like I have to talk to this person and they want to talk all day, every day. And I'm like, I have other things I want to do. I don't want to talk to you all day. And so it was funny. One guy, he was like, yeah, I want to talk when you get off work and before you go to bed. And I was like, I have things to do. Like, I can give you like 20 minutes, but I can't give you 2 hours, 2 hours a day. And so I'm just like mentally, I'm just not quite there yet.
And it's a lot of energy, I think. But when you're first just entertaining people, I don't think that it has to be all that. Like for me, if you text me good morning, beautiful, I'm not saying nothing because the morning is not beautiful. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be talking to you. I don't want to be talking to Jesus. I don't want to talk to nobody until it's like 11:30, 12 o'clock. You know what I mean? So those are like little quirks in my personality that I know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like initially it has to be all that. I'm talking about like when you're dating for a while. That's that, like getting to know really. Like me, I'm cool with it. What's up? You don't really technically have to call me, you know, because 9 times out of 10, I'm cooking or I'm eating. Like it's like that. Like after work, that's what I'm doing. I'm cooking, I'm eating, or I'm talking to my dad. You know.
So my friend Monica is cracking up at us talking about the minutes. So I know my friends. So when Isla said that, I'm like, what's funny is Isla and I will get on the phone and we can talk for an hour while she's doing work. And she's not giving me all her attention. She's doing something. But I think it's because of the relationship that makes the difference. And when you're trying to know somebody, some people are more needy than others. That's something I did learn about myself. When I'm serious in a relationship, I'm needy. When I'm not in a relationship, I'm the most independent person around. Like, I mean, fly the airways, go, drive hours by myself. But when I'm in a relationship, like when you say this is about to be a thing, then I'm like, oh, it's a thing.
You buckle up, you do.
And I don't think people be ready. I don't think people be like, well, wait. I'll be like, well, listen, what's your definition of relationship? Because maybe that's what the conversation we need to have, because that's how committed I am. Darius is laughing at us talking about the morning is not beautiful. Do you respond back, Cece?
It's not. No. Do I answer?
Eventually, like in the afternoon, the evening.
Well, here's the thing about that. I don't really do well with like answering on time. So like, you could say, "What up, Cece? What up, cousin?" And it be a Monday, and then 4 weeks later, I'm like, "What's up, cuz? How you been? What's new?" I'm always going to pick up exactly where our last conversation left off. Always exactly there. So I'm not really like, I do have to work on, and that's the thing, is there's some things that I know that I have to work on. Everybody, Ayana Van Zandt, do the work, but like there's a lot of things that I'm working on. Like, and communication is one of them. So do I feel like I'm ready to be in a full-blown relationship right now? No, because I don't do well with communication. So like you said, somebody could say, "Good morning, beautiful." In my head, I'm like, yeah, good night. It's like too early. What are we doing here? And then I just don't say anything. But I'll hop up and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like 2 days later.
Okay. And I guess that's what some people do. Just from you saying that, because that online dating thing, people would put their numbers out there, right? This is a thing I've definitely seen. People put their numbers out there and be like, "Yo, hit me up." And so I hit them up. Now, some people I did. Sorry. But some people I hit them up. and then like we may talk consistently like 5 days. Give it 5 days. Texting, might do one call. Well, don't meet up. Just talk on call. Text. And then like 3 weeks go by, and we be like, "Hey, what's up?" Yo, I never saved your number. What's your name again? I deleted that thread. So now that you said that, I'm like, maybe that is a thing that I think
maybe you shouldn't delete it, because not for nothing, honest to goodness truth, I just hit somebody up who had hit me up on December 25th and said Merry Christmas. So like I just was like, "Hey, happy holidays, happy Easter." I did do it like literally earlier this week. Happy Easter. The last thing they said was Merry Christmas. So I mean, don't delete the thread. People be busy. People have
reference.
Right. Yeah, I'll be sitting there scrolling up. Who is this person? What is their name? Because I don't save names anymore. I used to save names and be like, "Type CMB." That means coffee meets bagels, by the way. CMB. And I'll be like, "Oh."
Now, what I do is I'll save them in my phone, and it'll just be first name and then where I met them at. So if I met them on Bumble, it'll be like John Bumble, Paul, Hinge. And then that way I know to go back in my messages and see what happened and what transpired. And if they're a person that you really didn't want to talk to anyway, you got in there. Because sometimes you get in there and you be like, "Oh, I don't like it." And then so those people, like, I'll delete the thread.
Oh my Lord. Everybody's cracking up at us. I'm gonna get to these questions, y'all, before we get off of here. I'm gonna get to these questions. Monica is agreeing. Marquez is up here talking about
Work.
Right.
shout out to our brother Marquez.
You gotta be like Ayala.
This is my office mate, my buddy Monica says Cece's everything. This is the Cindy I've been telling you about. That's what I know it is. Cece's the adult nickname. Shout out to Darius who keeps up with the foolishness.
He died of hero last week. I mean, it's accurate. I mean, that's a real life story. That's something that really happened. But like, it was like I said, "Happy Holidays," because then that kind of covers.
Get you everything.
Just riding the whole train.
Oh my God. So I will get to some of these questions, but I respect what you're saying, Cindy. I'm trying to think what the other apps I'm on. I've deleted the other two apps because it wasn't Hinge. Was it Hinge? I think it is Hinge, the app that says you put it on your phone to be deleted. They're like our goal is to.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like Hinge
they
and
kept
Bumble
sending
are
me
where
trash.
you're meeting people that you want to date, really, or that are really interested in dating.
Say that one more time.
I said I feel like Hinge and Bumble really are like where you go to meet people who are interested in dating. I feel like Tinder, POF, definitely a hookup site. You know, that some sites, I don't know, attract different people.
Coffee Meets Bagels, I feel like is more centered on those people more down to earth.
Mhm.
Hinge, I kept feeling like they were sending me trash people. No offense. Or like, I think one guy tried to talk to me. He was handicapped, and I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to commit to
Right.
that type of relationship. I'm not sure.
Interabled relationships really are a thing, but I think that really has to be a certain person and a certain person. Like it really is. I don't think anybody and everybody can handle an interabled relationship. But there's this follow the blog on Facebook. But it's Charisma. Charisma is the lady, but it's like rolling with whatever the guy who's handicapped name is, but I can't think of his name right now, which is so dumb because I watch them all the time. But you know, it's the pressure, it's the ring light and things that's making me forget. But it's like rolling with Charisma and whoever this person is. But she actually was working in the long-term care facility that he ended up in after his accident because he's a paraplegic.
Wow.
And like their love is so cute and it's so nice because she loved the dogs throughout of him and he loves the dogs throughout of her. Really good. If I find it, I'll post it on my page. I don't know who follows me, but I'll post it on my page so that y'all can see what I'm talking about.
Got you. I would think that with committing to somebody who is handicapped, or even if you're the person that's handicapped, I think it really has to be to know that the person is really there for you. Like I don't need you to be getting a check off me, and you're not really there for me, and that's the other side of it. And I really think for me, it's all about like the commitment of me getting to know you. Once I know, because y'all know me, I'm more of a person that once I get to know you for a while, that's when the love really sets in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't be like, for the most part, I'm not head over heels. I might be really into you. I'll be head over heels for somebody I don't know. Because I'm always second guessing, and I don't think I'm a pessimistic, but I have pessimistic ways. I don't know.
Understandable. And you don't have to be a pessimist to just kind of be a realist. You know, like I know for a fact this doesn't work for me. There's nothing wrong with that. Tell me from the door. Okay, let me bring something up. Do y'all watch Married at First Sight?
Yes, I do. I love that show.
All right, so let's get into Paige. All right.
In the right place.
Chris, right? The guy for Paige is Chris, right?
Right.
So
That's the one from Georgia.
I don't know where they're
I don't know where he's from.
So I will say this. Let me give y'all a heads up. I watched like episode 1, 2, and then episode like 7, 8, and then I have not kept up with every single episode because every so often I catch myself saying, "Yo, they crazy."
Right. Well, here's the thing. I don't really watch the full show, and the joke is that I was almost on the show when it was in Philadelphia, right? So, okay, just to give you a summary of how things happened with it. So, boom. at my house, minding my business on the Instagrams. So I'm on Instagram, and this like person hits me up. This guy hits me up, and he's like, "Hey, I love your profile. I work with the TV show Married at First Sight." I was like, "Bye. This is somebody in Africa trying to get my information, right? This is what." So he's like, "I love your profile, blah, blah, blah." So before I know it, he's like, "Well, you know, if you can do an interview, right, Darius, I'm coming back to Chris and Paige." So he's like, "Do an interview," and then he's like, you know, whatever, you'll move forward from there. And that interview was like Zoom, like this. Boom. We did that. Then they have you show up at a location. You go to the location with all these other girls. They film you on the stairs and stuff. But really, little secret, it's not really mad people there. Like, it's not like 100 people there. The people that they invite to the location, it's like 20 of y'all, and then they just keep on shuffling y'all like in line,
okay.
and then retaping you.
Gotcha.
So boom, that happens. Then we met the doctors, and we did, you know, like an all-day workshop, and then they were like, come back the next day, because then they were dwindling down. But it wasn't that many girls versus that many men. It was like 20 something. Mm-hmm. And so, anywho, that's how it works, right? So that's how this process works. The whole time, you never see the men. Like, if you're a woman, you never see the men. They have us come on different days or different times or whatever the case may be. Boom. All right. So now, to bring that to Chris and Paige. So Chris was saying that he wasn't physically attracted to Paige, right? But he never really gave her a chance, right? And not for nothing, Chris got a mush face. Like, everything's mush. Like, everything's you know. So it's like, out of all the things for you to be worried about, and not only that, but you come with your own baggage. He had like a baby mom that he didn't know that he had, but it's like, really the way that the schedule,
so I don't know
the scheduling is set up, there's no way, because literally I would have been taping the following like 2 weeks. So there's no. Well, I mean, I guess she could have said I'm pregnant in between, like double dutch, but I don't really believe it. But, you know, that he didn't have any idea that she was pregnant, whatever. But the whole thing is that his thing was that he wasn't physically attracted to her. But he dogged her out. Then you want to bring this other girl and then make her talk to the girl. Bring the girl on the show.
I saw that, and I was, what's going on here? Because once again, I've been watching 1, 2, 4. Oh yeah.
And I was gonna say, Chris gave Paige all the signs very early on, and I was like, goodbye from the beginning, from the time I'm not physically attracted to you. All right, cool, let's go.
From the door. But then she said, here's my problem with Paige. Like, girl, I want to feel bad for you, but at the same time, right, Delphi, he definitely has the nerve. So I want to feel bad for Paige. I really do. And she's like, I don't know why God would bring me here. Was it God or was it the producers? I have a question. Like,
now I don't know what they sign off on, but I'm ready to sue. And this is the only reason why I say that. I don't know how fake or how much of a front Chris has put up. I literally remember people saying this. Because I watched The Bold and The Bold and the Beautiful with Kevin on stage and that chick Angel, and there are a couple of shows, and they always do one on the show, like every week or month, whatever they're doing on the show. And people were just like, I really think that was a setup, because him and his little baby mom, whatever, like their whole setup of them coming on, like to get known or to get some what is that word I'm looking for? Clout. Mm-hmm. I can't take him seriously at all. And all of that, every time he comes back and apologize, I just want to like throw a dart or something at his head. Not to kill him, but just be like, get out of here, dummy, because you're not considering other people. You're selfish. You're selfish, number one. All this Jesus Christ and all this that you're claiming, I want you to go get your life together. And I think I watched one episode and he was like, she prayed for me and that made me feel better. She reminded me of my grandmom, and I like that about her quality. You can get a lot of people to pray for you. That don't mean that's the person you're supposed to be married to. And my concern is that you're just doing things that are convenient for you, which is a problem that I have with people in relationships in general. I won't go there heavily right now because it'll really bother me. But I have a problem with that. Like you're taking advantage of people and not realize what you're doing. And I do understand that some of us are to blame as givers, give. And somebody needs to like throw a dart at our heels too, tell us stop. But that's kind of what I feel like Paige is. She's that type of Christian woman that's really gonna work hard to make everything work. If it fails, it'll probably be because he decided to quit because she gonna keep forgiving him. I'm like, girl.
But to me, at some point, your self-love has to say, well, hey now, this is getting a little ridiculous. This boy with this smush face done said I'm unattractive, say he don't want to sleep with me, we married, he said he don't want nothing to do with me, and they're going to turn around and tell the doctors, like, why would y'all pick somebody who's what do you mean, sir? You've been wearing church shoes since the first episode and nobody judged you. Nobody. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, I don't know why that made me so mad, but every time
because that relationship has actually hurt people, and some people, it's actually hurt people, and some people really feel like it makes Christians look dumb. It makes us look like we don't have a mind of our own. People who are believers, and it's like, come on, man, like no, like you're misusing.
Right.
I'm still weak ass. So Darius and Marquez come out, and Darius come out Cindy, because I'm still weak at mush face. Let me just say that I'm still weak at mush face.
What's happening?
Because people think more highly of themselves than they ought to. Let me get to these questions.
And that's the thing. That's a whole nother podcast. Who I think I am versus what you're presenting.
Listen,
that's a whole
nother. Okay. I'm just going to say this, and this is going to come from a very churchy perspective, and people can say whatever they want to say about it. People will be grand, they will look grand, but your credit score is trash. You bring nothing to the table. You don't even have a table. But you so grand and you so extra and you make people feel less than. I despise it. I despise it. Darn y'all.
Not church folks.
Y'all are in rare form tonight. All right, let me get
you guys are really funny.
So Darius had a question first. As a person living single in 2021, what has your experience of the dating relationship scene been? I think we stepped on it a little bit. I'm still open to dating. I just have a hard time dating multiple people at the same time because I forget people's names.
Let's see. I'm open to, like I said earlier, but right now it's been pretty non-existent. COVID is still real.
Right.
And I have deleted all the apps. Like I said earlier, I don't want to talk all day to people that I don't already have a friendship or a set relationship with.
Darius also asks, has the pandemic affected your thoughts on feelings on being single? I mean, how do you guys feel now that we've been sitting, we had time to literally sit with our thoughts?
I think that it showed me there's a lot that I need to deal with or work on. Because, I was in here aggravating myself. And so I was like, oh, wow. It's just you up in here and you're really aggravated. So then I was like, there's some things that I need to work on. But I think also, too, it makes you think of, what if I did have a family? Everybody's complaining about homeschooling. I want to be, homeschooling the kid, trying to cook dinner, trying to do work all at the same time, just it really does. What I'll say is that it kind of gives you like a vision into what a different life could be, or how life could be different for you right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, it's Darius, I will have to say for me, I seriously am thinking like I need to do a therapy session. Because I entertain my thoughts a lot. Like I'm a thinker. I've been like that since I was young. And I overthink. I assess, reassess, assess some more, and then reassess again. And then I say, wait a minute, let's assess one more. And after 5 assessments later, I still be feeling stupid. Like, I don't know what's going on. So for Darius, I think more so it's been about being more introspective for me. That's my main thing. It's not that I don't want to do. I'm still open to dating, and I do realize that I'm in a space where I'm actually open to even a committed relationship if I know the person is serious about who they are.
Right.
If I feel that you're flaky, or I feel that you're fake, or I feel that you have other intentions, as soon as I start getting an inch of that, I'm out.
Right. And you have the right to reclaim your time. Now, that's what I am saying, but I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you pick up on something or something's not really vibing with you, to be like, you know what, this isn't my cup of tea, and kind of gracefully exiting before, you know, things have the chance to hit the fan.
Yes. So, Anitra asked a question as well. Hey, Miss Farmville, do you feel like after being single for so long and seeing how much of a headache dating can be, are you turned off to playing the dating game? Hmm. I
I
take I take breaks.
Hmm.
I take breaks.
Yeah, if I feel overwhelmed, and that's with anything in life, if I feel like it's too much, God bless and good night. I'm the kind of person, boop, shut it down. You know, so for me, I wouldn't really, I don't think that it puts me out the game. I think that sometimes, you know, I might be on a timeout, but I'm not out the game.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely can concur on that one. Y'all, yes, Darnell, you know how I feel about people not bringing much to the table. Um, and I don't insult. I think this is the biggest thing. Oh, not to go deep, but for like 2 seconds, I do want to say this. I think that sometimes people have a perspective of who they think a person is in their mind. So when they have a perspective of who the person is in their mind, when they get to know who they really are, it's they switch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that is the biggest thing about dating. You see a picture, you see a profile, or you see a person in church, work, school, whatever. And then when you get to know them, you actually realize, okay, this might be a different person than who I thought it was, or the type of person I thought I would be attracted to. You can't get mad that your face value or my face value is not what you think it is. But I think the worst thing about it is when people look down on people's face value because it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Or not even face value, or who I am is different. Um, like I'm perceived as quiet until I say something reckless. I'm generally perceived as quiet, and
Right.
but people will overlook you because of these personality traits. Not realizing that you could be missing out, and so that's the only reason why I'm trying to do better on dating profiles with liking people that may not be my type per se.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of fallen away from having a type and more so just liking people's profiles based on what they say. But then they still send DMs that make no sense. And I'm like, that's it. Get out of here. So, Darius has one more question before we wrap it up. Last question for me. Oh, has the church affected your dating life? Negative or poor?
I think this is an interesting question though, because I will say, so I'm 30, and the age group that I'm in, I feel like right now in the church, that is not an age group. Like I feel like there's people that are younger and older, and so there's a lack or something missing from my particular age group. So it really hasn't, I guess, a negative effect because the people that I'm exposed to in the church aren't people that I would even consider dating because they're so much older or younger.
Isla, you might have to get you some tracks and hit the streets. Like, if they not in the church, you might got to bring them in, you know.
The fact that you said tracks, like anybody just said, it's still COVID. It's still COVID.
I don't know if they still
not the track.
No, but I can understand that. Like, just as far as the lack of in the church. Okay, so I haven't been in the church in quite some time, but it seems like the kind of guys that I would talk to, like the tough, like, you know, like not tough, but like
I don't.
as far being politically correct, like
I would say
that's
tough.
what it
I would say what's the word they was using? What was the word the young folks was using? Not suave. That's an old word. There's a word I'm looking for.
Swag.
Swag.
Like, swag. Yeah, that you don't really find really right now. in my experience, and I can't even be I can't even speak to recent, but like in my experience, like church guys, they haven't really had like that swag, or like there's a lot of you don't know who's messing with who, because it's almost like church guys are kind of like two groups. It's like the guys who be with all the girls, and then the guys who like to be with all the boys. Like it's not like a in between, like just people just out here trying to make it. Where's that category? And so
Yeah.
it's hard to find in the church. So for me, dating within the church, I think, not to say, I don't know, I don't want to get into a whole conversation of being equally yoked and things like that, but I do think you can meet somebody on the streets and bring them to the altar. I don't really know. I haven't done it yet, but I think I read about it somewhere. You can do it. We just got to get some tracks.
So let me say, there is no in between. Doriel, okay, we got one more question. This is Marquez, you're gonna be last question for the night. Tavera said, "Big tracks hit the streets." Yes, she did. This is one thing I'll never forget. A friend of mine said this to somebody. He was like, the girl liked them or something like that, and he was like, "Oh, you're cool." But I know that you got some stuff going on, and he literally said this: "I believe God can do it, and when He does it, then you can call me." So I'm not saying one consenting knows who the person is. But it was a concept of I'm not going to be unequally yoked or be frustrated. But if you ever decide, to give your life to Jesus Christ and get yourself together a little bit, we can meet up.
We can figure it out.
We have to figure it out, So I will have to say to your question, Darius, you can put Darius' question back up so people who can see it. The church has affected me negatively because I no longer feel free to say how I really feel about dating or about being a single woman in the church. If I say what I really feel or how I really feel, some people can't handle it. So I choose to have my podcast and talk with my few friends. Because I think sometimes the church can't be real about what they're really dealing with. I will always appreciate the professor that spoke in our chapel at night about horny and holy. I honestly can't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what he said. I was like 18, 17, who knows? But it was the fact that he had that title and took the conversation as college students, because it was just like, y'all gonna stop being stupid about it. Or stop acting like it's not there. Stop acting like it's not there, because everybody's still having children, married and not married. People still having sex, married and not married, whatever. People doing what they want to do. And for us to just try to glaze over it, or to preach a hard message on celibacy, but not deal with the process of dealing with your horniness, that's a problem for me.
Right.
And I understand that is not something that needs to come across maybe the pulpit. It may be needed in intimate situations, but
workshops. You show me how to build my credit. Show me how to deal with these things that I'm thinking about, because everything. I mean, if the church were to address life in its full spectrum, I think things would be so much better. Hit all the spots, because life isn't one dimensional. And so if you can teach me how to apply these lessons to everyday life, and that's a major part of life. Sexuality is something that nobody wants to talk about, but it's a major part of life.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yes.
One thing is that Marquez said, stop acting right. But Marquez did bring up a point. He was asking in the comments, he asked about, do you believe in finding your soulmate? Or what are your thoughts on the one, or finding your soulmate? I think that people have people. Like, there are people that you're drawn to and that people that you'll do well with. But I don't personally believe in, there's one person, if you miss them, you miss them. If you were supposed to be at Kroger at 10 o'clock in the ice cream aisle and you miss that person, then that's it for you. I don't think that's it. But I do think that there's people that you gel with better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's my opinion, just so if you wanted to know.
I definitely agree with that, because due to the fact that all of us know people who have been married to somebody, their spouse died, and then they got married again.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
and full in love and full in that person is for me at this time. Who's to say if they had met before then? Because I think that timing is a big thing.
yes.
The timing of your life. It's not for nothing. Cece from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, she was a hot trashy mess. Like the if I were to meet my person back then, it definitely wouldn't work out. Because I had things that I needed to work out personally.
Yeah, I fully agree. So I just want to tell, first off, shout out to people who've been on for this entire hour and a half. Shout out to Darius. I don't know if Dorothy's still on, but she was like in the beginning. And Christian, my friend Christian, who's also originally from Jersey and now lives in DC. Shout out to all y'all for sticking through it with us. But everybody else who came on and I love the comments. I live here for the comments. Because when I used to have a radio show in college and after college, I had an independent radio show and I was like, this sucks. I don't even know what people are saying.
It feel like you're just talking to the air.
And I quit. I literally had a radio show in West Philadelphia. It's independent. I did it for about a year, and I quit doing it. I was doing it every week, and I was like, I'm really playing gospel music for who? Like, I don't know who's listening.
It was a good radio show, though.
Did you listen to it?
It was a good show.
People couldn't call in.
Hmm?
People couldn't call in.
I don't really know, because it was an independent radio show. It didn't have a heavy backing. It was called WPEB. It didn't have a heavy backing. So some people couldn't even get it, and they were in West Philly. It's a West Philadelphia station for West Philadelphia, and people in West Philadelphia can't get it. What am I supposed to do? And I hadn't started inviting guests on. So that would have frustrated me if I started taking time to bring people from their homes or various places in Philadelphia. And they would have got there and nobody could hear the extra conversation. This is, of course, podcasting was around, but as big as it is now was definitely not what it was in 2007 and 2008, which is the time that I was on doing that show. Podcasting and this whole being live stuff, that was kicked off when YouTube really began to take off. So I just want to say shout out to everybody who took the time to stay on and to listen to this conversation. It's basically an hour and a half. And even for those who listened for the first 5 minutes when I was still trying to get things together. I was trying to share the link. So do follow my channel. You on YouTube is Renewed Talk with Elaine Jones. Do follow the channel. Do follow ILa and Cece. These are their social media handles that you see. So if you find them on Instagram, Facebook, follow them up. Shout out, I must do this real quick before we end out tonight. Shout out to Miss ILa, who has a company called The Cartwright Collection. The Cartwright Collection.
Follow the Cartwright Collection.
So I can't stand up because if I do, I'm going to knock everything over. But this is one of her shirts. This is actually the first Renewed Talk show shirt.
Yes. You have to show them the back. The back is the cool part. You got to like that or something.
So the shirt says, "Money didn't get you here, fate did." And then on the back,
you might have to squat so they can see them back. Work them Megan style on your knees.
Hold on. I don't want to knock this good old or light over. Because Elaine is either one, right? You know, I was either one. All on Facebook. So, y'all see that? Jesus. I joined noon.
I'm sorry.
I need to hold my phone and count as steps for noon.
Oh, yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Nice. Yes. So, Renewed Talk, this is Renewed Talk's first shirt. And I have the shirt on. Yes, Dorothy. Dorothy's still here. But ILa, the Cartwright Collection, created it for me because I want to do different shirts that say different things. This is my own saying because that's what the Lord keeps reminding me. Don't forget what got you here. Faith. Money didn't get you here. Faith got you here. That's my testimony. And if you have a similar testimony, then hit me up for a shirt. But we're going to make a few more. So ILa, just know you got a few more orders. And we're going to have different sayings that can relate to different people. But I want them to be original sayings, so you're probably not going to see anything similar to what we've seen recently because I feel like everybody has a shirt now. Like,
right.
people just making shirts because they trying to make some extra money. And I want my shirts to have some meaning to it.
Don't worry, I'll go in my prayer closet. I'll get us some sayings. Don't worry. I'm gonna get real mystical. Don't worry.
I got you. So thank you so much. Shout out. I'm gonna just shout out a few people real fast to Tavera, Marquez, Danielle, who really was a big blessing to me when I first moved to DC. Her parents let me live with them for 3 months. Thank you. And now she's in the DMV area. Shout out to Darius, Monica, Dorothy, and I wanted to shout out to my good friend Christian, and shout out to Melody, Douglas, and I'm missing somebody. I'm searching for their name. Delphi. Because Delphi, I don't remember ever meeting you, but I've known your name for at least 20 years of my life. Because
Right. It's been a while.
At least 20 years I've known that name. So y'all have a wonderful night. And I pray that you all have enjoyed it. And if there's anything else, just know Living Single Part 2 will be in the month of May. If y'all have questions, hit me up on YouTube. Share this link with everybody on social media. But if you have questions, let me know, and we'll use them for the next episode. All right, guys.
Thanks for having us, Janelle, Elaine.
Yes, thank you, Janelle.
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate it. Oh, I'm supposed to pray. Well, this is what I usually do. Somebody's supposed to pray out, and it's not me because I'm the host. Anybody want to pray? I almost forgot. Cindy.
Close my eyes.
I was just ready for it. Go ahead.
I can pray. I will pray us out.
Thanks.
All right.
Oh,
Oh, Heavenly Father, we come before you. Thank you so much for allowing us to see Janelle and I to come together and talk about living single on Renewed Talk podcast. Thank you for the viewers that were on here tonight. Bless them for coming and staying for the whole hour and a half and letting them know that we truly appreciate them. Please continue to keep us and give us health and strength. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Man, that was beautiful.